Now, in this video, I'll actually rant about a recent altercation between Anton Daniels and comedian Corey Holcombs and Corey Holcomb's podcast. And I'm going to show you an issue between about these black men who claim to be black conscious, but what they are is really cowards who are afraid to stand on anything, and thus they use ad-ebonyms, and I wouldn't even use so much of a big word because I know I'm gonna I gotta keep it simple in layman's term because this is our rant. I'm learning a lot from the people on Instagram to just when you gotta cuss black people out, you just gotta cuss them out in the most ratchet of ways. And let me start by explaining how Corey Holcombs attack Anton Daniels and accused him of sucking the white man's dick. And when Anton counter accused him of sucking the black man's dick, he got so pissed off. And this is how weak these motherfuckers are. Now let me explain to you what started this whole confrontation. Holcombs or whatever his name. Let me say Corey was defending this woman, Nicole. What's her name? Is there Nicole? No. What's that woman's in Ice name again? I do so much videos on her and I keep on forgetting her name. It will come back to me. But this woman, whose last name is Good, was just a terrible person. And Renee Nicole Good, she was just a terrible person. And I say that because I share the same perspective as Anton Daniels, that the liberal white woman is one of the worst things to ever happen to the Western Hemisphere and the Western man. Even worse than the educated black woman, who I consider to be the most undesirable of mates because there's just so much of a nuisance in terms of standards that no one cares about. But let me say now, let me just illustrate to you that you'll never walk down the street, see a white man, and ask him what does he think about the Bloods and the Crips beef, because he doesn't care about black and black violence. But yet people like Corey Holcombs get so passionate about this white woman being shot by ICE, by a white ICE police officers, because you see, the black man loves the white man's fight more than he loves his own fight. Like, people are actually comparing this woman's demise to that of George Floyd. George Floyd did not jump into a V6 SUV and try to run over a police officer. He was in complete submission when his knee was on his neck. Mind you, I don't support George Floyd because no productive citizen would be handing out fake $20 bills to stores. He was just a scumbag, black or white. And you know, at the end of the day, he was the one who was responsible for what happened to him. You won't ever see me police being called on me for handing out no fake bills to no store person, to no store clerk. Even though even the store clerk regretted calling the police because of what the episode that preceded. Now, when Anton Daniels said Corey Holcombs was sucking black dick, Corey Holcombs got extra angry. And I'm proud of Anton Daniels to stand up to these weak black men who continue to comment and social issues and pretend that they can just call a man a coon, a bootlicker, and that makes them intelligent. No, it does not. At the end of the day, you got to sound rational. And Anton was the one who sounded rational by explaining that this woman was in the wrong. And he explained why she did what she did, which is because of her political ideology. These people are sick, they're indoctrinated, they're crazy. And if you understand this ideological divorce between the liberal white woman and the conservative white male, I'd rather stick with Donald Trump than side with anything that wants to change the gender of a 6-year-old child. So you see, that is where these people love to commentate, but they're not aware of what the enemy is. And Corey Holcomb was complaining about transgenderism in that same dialogue while defending an advocate for transgenderism in Renee Nicole Good. You see, the issue is with these people, they like to attack black conservatives because they think, because we don't want to watch Megan Thee Stallion twerk on a stage. We don't think that's appealing to that will solve anything politically, or that is really and truly putting other issues on the table. That is just pandering to ignorance and making us look stupid. And I think these black commentators and social advocates, some of them are mediocre and they come up with some mediocre reasoning. Recently, I even heard Dr. Umar saying the black people can't be racist. Then black people can't think. Anybody with a brain can be racist. But he got that from the white university and the white liberal thinking, and they keep on pandering to the masses with these nonsense, because black people like to think that they can't be racist because they think they don't know what it is like to be powerful, and there's no race that gains power without being racist. The Chinese, no one likes the Chinese, but because they're racist, wherever they go, they stick to themselves and they look out for themselves because they're racist, and that's how they gain power. The black man still gotta watch the white man's CNN. You see what I'm saying? He still gotta buy the Jews' jewelry, even though the Jews got it from his place. And it's time for us to really realize that we gotta stand on principle, and Anton stands on principle. And most of which, and for this reason, he is a black conservative, because the black community is conservative. We just vote liberal because we are brainwashed. The Democratic plantation was worse than the slave plantations. You see? CNN is worse than the whip. And they can't tell me anything. And let me further answer that young man that asked Anton the question about religion during their altercation. Let me just go on a tangent and explain that even though it's the white man that violently put religious Christianity into the black man, that white man that violently put Christianity into the black man at that time knew that white man was doing something wrong. These black pastors that now propagate Christianity is ones that they're propagating to a sheep. You see what I'm saying? They're propagating to a Christian. They weren't propagated to a what they call a savage. They're propagated to know what is called a complacent, God-fearing, wanting sheep. So they're just sending the fool a little further, which makes them worse than the slave master, because now they can actually pimp their masses. So the white man's version of Christianity to me is way better than the black man's version of Christianity, even though he push it with so much force and aggression. Our version of Christianity will never free us. because it teaches us to be 100% in submission and never question what we were taught by those evil white men and also our black pastors who advocate for this ignorance. But back to the conversation. Corey Holcomb, Dale Yulee, and all the rest of morons who can't see something that is totally wrong with this woman jumping in an SUV and aiming after federal authorities. Just know one thing. Not everybody is going to sacrifice principle for prejudice. See what I'm saying? I know for a fact that ICE agent is way more acceptable of the black male than that lesbian liberal woman. For a fact, the most racism I've ever gotten is from liberal white people. All you gotta do is disagree with them. All you gotta do is disagree with them. Your rape charge is coming. Your ban from YouTube is coming. All of that stuff is coming. Name me one time right-wing white men have gotten any black man banned from YouTube. One time. Name me one time. Even though, speaking of that, I heard Anton recently talk about Tommy Sotomayor and how he avoids him because of YouTube algorithm does not like him and he won't sacrifice the bag for no black man. So he himself is a bit off in that sense because there's no reason I would disassociate myself from a black man because of the punks at YouTube. You see what I'm saying? Then I take it up the ass from them too for the bag. But let me give him the right this time with Corey Holcomb. And let me say unequivocally. Oh, 1 second. I gotta go. See you later.